Look, guys, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I reckon one of the strangest things about life is that most of us already know deep down what version of ourselves we respect. Like, we know. We know the version of us that gets up when he says he will. We know the version of us that trains even when he cannot really be bothered. We know the version of us that puts the phone down, stops messing around, and actually gets after it. We know that guy. The problem is, most of the time, we keep ghosting him. I mean, if you sit there for a minute and think about the man you could be if you actually followed through on the things you keep saying matter to you, what do you think would happen? Most people already know the basics: sleep better, train more, stop wasting so much time, handle money better. Quit making excuses. Like, come on, none of this is exactly breaking news. The hard part is not understanding it. The hard part is doing it when you don't feel like it. That is where the real battle is. And honestly, I've felt that in my own life big time. There have been so many days where I did not feel like training, like for real, properly did not feel like it. Days where BJJ training sounded amazing in theory, but in practice I was tired, distracted, a bit sore, and my brain was trying to sell me 10 different excuses. You know how it goes. Just go tomorrow. You already trained a lot this week. You could probably use a rest. And then you show up anyway. And by the end of it, you remember why that matters. I know sometimes it is ugly. Sometimes you feel like you are not improving. Sometimes you feel slow. Sometimes you get pieced up a bit, or you gas out, or you realize your timing is off and you are not nearly as sharp as you thought. But that is kind of the point, because every time you still show up, even when the session is messy, you are teaching yourself something way bigger than technique. You are teaching yourself that your mood does not get to run the whole operation. And that lesson matters way outside the gym. Same thing with BJJ, honestly. BJJ has a special way of humbling you without even raising its voice. You walk in feeling decent, maybe even a bit confident, and then some calm guy who looks like he is not stressed since 2011 just folds you up like laundry. And now you have a choice. You can get weird about it, you can get defensive, or you can just accept it, learn from it, and come back better without your ego. That is a grown man lesson right there. Because life does that too. It puts you in bad spots. It puts pressure on you. It embarrasses you sometimes. It shows you very clearly that you are not as in control as you thought you were. And what really shapes you is how you respond when that happens. When it is inconvenient, when it is painful, when you are tired, when you are doubting yourself a bit. That is where your real habits show up. That is where your character stops being a nice idea and starts becoming something real. And bro, that is why I think discipline gets misunderstood all the time. People talk about it like it is this cold, joyless military thing where you just become some machine and never laugh again. That is not really how I see it. To me, discipline is just a way of protecting the life you say you want. That is all it is. It is your actions backing up your words. It is you saying, yeah, I still want this, even on the boring days, especially on the boring days, because those are the days that decide everything. Anyone can feel fired up for one afternoon. Anyone can make a promise at midnight. Anyone can watch one motivational clip and suddenly feel like their whole life is about to change. Cool. That means nothing. What matters is what happens on the random Wednesday when you slept weird, work was annoying, you are tempted to slack off, and nobody would even know if you took the easy way out. That day matters more than the hype day, way more. And I think a lot of men get stuck because they keep waiting to feel different before they act different. that is backwards, you usually have to act first. The feeling catches up later. You do not become more confident and then start doing hard things. A lot of the time, you do hard things first, and then confidence starts showing up because now you have evidence and you have receipts. You can look back and go, all right, I kept going. I did not quit there. I did not tap out just because I felt a bit uncomfortable. That stuff adds up. And man, the opposite adds up too. That is the bit people do not like hearing. Every time you keep breaking promises to yourself, that builds something as well. Every time you say you are going to start and then you do not. Every time you tell yourself tomorrow. Every time you know what needs sorting out, but keep dodging it. That is building a version of you too. Maybe not the one you want. And then one day you sit there wondering why you feel weak, shaky, or kind of disappointed in yourself. Well, because your own brain has seen the pattern. It has watched you talk big and move small. It has watched you negotiate with things that should not have been up for debate. So, yeah, I really do think a lot of this comes down to learning how to stop negotiating with every tiny feeling. Because feelings are flaky, man. Useful sometimes, sure. Still flaky. If I only trained when I felt like training, I would have missed so many sessions that ended up meaning a lot to me. If I only did what felt easy, I would never have gotten some of the best lessons I got from doing Muay Thai and BJJ. I mean mentally, learning how to stay calm when tired. Learning how to keep going when a round feels long as hell. That stuff is important. That stuff carries over. It carries into work. It carries into relationships. It carries into days when life is just a mess and you still need to function like a decent human being. And I think that is one reason I get a bit suspicious of all that just be happy advice. But if your whole life is built around chasing comfort, then the second things get rough, you fall to pieces. Because now every inconvenience feels offensive. Every setback feels personal. Whereas if you have spent time doing hard things on purpose, you get a different relationship with discomfort. You stop treating it like proof that something has gone terribly wrong. Sometimes it is just the cost of becoming harder to shake. And I think ordinary life already asks a lot from men anyway. You do not need to be some billionaire to know that. Regular life is already tough enough. Trying to keep your head straight is hard. Trying to stay disciplined with money is hard. Trying to build something useful is hard. Trying to take care of your body when you are busy is hard. Trying not to get into bad habits is hard. So the question becomes, how are you going to show up for it? Are you going to keep handing your decisions over to whatever mood shows up first? Or are you going to become the kind of guy who can still do what matters even when his feelings are being a bit useless? Because that is powerful, really. Real power is not barking at people. It is not acting hard online. It is not talking like you are the king of the world because you bought something shiny and took a moody photo next to it. Real power is being able to govern yourself. That is the thing. Can you govern yourself? Can you get yourself moving when you would rather stay still? Can you shut down your own nonsense before it turns into another wasted week? Can you sit with pain without instantly reaching for distraction? That is the stuff I respect now, way more than all the flashy things. And I think pain plays a part in that too, whether people like it or not. I am not saying suffering automatically makes you special. Loads of people suffer and just become bitter. I mean, pain can teach you something if you use it properly, like getting heartbroken, like losing momentum, like having one of those seasons where everything feels off and you have to rebuild yourself a bit, like getting humbled in training, like getting smacked by life and realizing your old habits are not enough anymore. Those moments can either make you collapse into self-pity or they can make you sharper. And I think that choice matters a lot, because I have had seasons where things felt heavy, where motivation was low, and one of the only things that helped was going back to basics. Train, show up, get your shit together, stop overcomplicating it. That is another thing, actually. People love to overcomplicate self-improvement. They want the perfect method, the perfect routine, the perfect plan, the perfect mental model, the perfect productivity system. Dude, half the time you do not need a new system. You need to stop wasting your life. You probably already know the next right move. It is just not as exciting as consuming more advice. And I say that by knowing full well I am sitting here making a video giving advice. I get the irony. Still true. There comes a point where the answer is not more input. It is more follow-through. Another thing is this. If you are surrounded by people who celebrate your weakness, excuse your nonsense, and clap every time you dodge responsibility, you are going to stay soft. But if you are around people who challenge you a bit, who keep you honest, and who are actually building something, that changes you. That is something I have felt through training and through the people in my life. The right environment pulls more out of you. It does. And the wrong one lets you rot while calling it self-acceptance. So if your circle is built around laziness, distraction, excuses, and endless coping, it might be time to shake that up, because your future is getting shaped by what you normalize. That is really the heart of it. What are you normalizing? What kind of man are you rehearsing every day? Because you are rehearsing something every day with the way you spend your time, with the way you react to stress, with the way you handle temptation. You are rehearsing a self. And man, I think a lot of people would move way differently if they really sat with that. If they really asked themselves, who am I becoming if I keep going like this? Honestly, who am I becoming? Because that answer can wake you up real fast. So, yeah, if I had to put all this simply, I would say this. There is a version of you that you already respect. You probably know exactly who he is. He is not perfect. He is not some fantasy guy. He is just more switched on than the guy making excuses right now. He follows through more. He wastes less time. He handles himself better. He is calmer under pressure. He is harder to knock off course. And the gap between you and him is not magic. It is reps. It is pain. It is consistency. It is all those regular, unglamorous moments where you decide not to act like a passenger in your own life. That is where he gets built. Not in theory, not in daydreams, not in comments, in reps. And honestly, that should be encouraging. Because if reps built the weaker version of you, reps can build the stronger one too. So if you feel like you have been getting out of track, if you can already hear that better version of yourself getting a bit fed up with the nonsense, good. That is not bad news. That is awareness. That is your cue. Not to become perfect by next week. Show up, do the work, take the hit, learn the lesson, and let that future version of you stop being some vague idea and start becoming the guy people actually meet.